want to go ahead and welcome everyone. Hi, everybody. It's Aretha speaking. And we have people checking in from everywhere, from Australia to Brazil to Brooklyn. Shout out to Lauren. Um, and I just want to welcome you guys and say hello. And we don't have, we're just having a very open discussion tonight about what's happening really around the world, and particularly as it impacts our community, the officiating slash wedding industry community. Um, and we're just talking really about what you're doing and what we're doing, and some of the calls we're getting from couples, and some of the things that we're actually doing to stay safe, and how this is all really impacting your bottom line in your business. So I want to welcome Lillian. Lillian, thank you so much for being here all the way from Australia. I really appreciate that. I know you've been traveling quite a bit and you made some time for us, and I appreciate that. And to everyone
look,
else, thank you guys for coming.
Yeah. Oh, look, and thanks for putting this on as well, Aretha. I think in times like this, we do need to have some sort of solidarity. Being an officiant or a celebrant is quite an isolating role, and we do need to find support from our peers.
Absolutely.
During times
I want to hear more about your
thank
sanitation pack, Lillian. Yes, thank you. I want to hear more about your sanitation pack and some of the other things that you guys are doing over there. And I know Clinton, thank you for coming, Clinton. You're actually unmuted. And I saw that did you create a separate page on your website for your couples and your colleagues? I didn't get a chance to look at it, but I think I saw something on social media. Hey, Clinton.
Hey, how are you? So good to talk to you.
Hi. Thank you. You as well. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. No, so I didn't create a separate page yet. I was just talking about my day job. So I'm an emergency manager in a hospital. I do disaster planning for one of the largest hospital here in Colorado. So it's been quite interesting.
Oh, okay. So how's it going with the business?
You know, I will say, kind of some of the pros and cons is I was supposed to actually be traveling in March and April. I took 3 weeks off, and so I booked out all that time, so I didn't have any weddings. So kind of a blessing and a curse. But I just did a wedding the other day where, the couples refused to touch hands, and it was kind of interesting. It just kind of takes you out of your element, and it just really makes you think about, and sort of in an odd way, kind of makes you feel a little uncomfortable, like you're almost doing something wrong as well.
It's me really uncomfortable. I mean, the second I walk into a space, even for the rehearsal, everybody just want to hug me, especially the elders. So it is really weird. It's just.
Yeah. What do you do then, Aretha? How do you handle that without feeling as though you're being rude?
My next wedding is not for another 2 weeks, but I've just not been touching people. I think it was, I think it might have been Chris out in Florida, or was it maybe Lauren in New York? I forgot who said this to me, but you might want to have a sign on your chest that says, "Don't touch the officiant." Of course not.
It wasn't me, but that's a great idea.
It wasn't you.
I'm like,
How about you, Lillian? How have you been doing it so that you're feeling uncomfortable, or other people making other people feel uncomfortable?
Well, I've just been doing a little bit of almost like a prayer thing with my hands and bowing my head and then blowing them a kiss, just that, so that I get it across right away. I even say to them, I think I'll just blow you a kiss from here, and that's it, rather than not go into it too much. A lot of my couples are sending me through, so like to everyone who's listening, we're in peak season here in Australia, like the peak of the peak season. So, we're in full wedding mode. And a lot of my couples are sending me, announcements to say before we begin, so before the processional. And I tell all of the guests, right, this is what's happening. Please stay away, try to honor each other's space. Try to refrain from hugging. Even if you feel silly and after you've had a couple of drinks, try to remember that. I think that sort of thing.
That's a good one. Yeah, nobody's asked me to do that.
Yeah, they've been asking me to do it before the processional because I'd rather keep the ceremony still as its own thing, you know. I just want that to be beautiful. I don't want that to be full of instructions. So before we begin, I get up there on the microphone and I do my bit, and I still make an entry and I still do all of that after that. But yeah, so it's been.
I really like that. Yeah, I really like that.
And I've got a question.
Yeah.
So are they separating people any further when they're sitting there, you know, or is everybody still sitting shoulder to shoulder?
In Australia, we've just yesterday morning, the Prime Minister announced that there are to be no social gatherings indoors for any groups of more than 100, which includes venue staff. The ceremony itself usually has under that anyway, but the problem has been with weddings where then they proceed to the reception where they might have 200 or 300 or 400 people there. But how they're trying to combat it is trying to move everything outside. So if you have a ceremony outside, and it's summer here, right? So you can have ceremonies outside quite easily. You can have up to 500 people. The problem is then going inside where you have 100, but 100 people also includes the venue staff, all right? The venues are the ones who are liable for that, and they're the ones that are, you know, having to adhere to those rules. But we're just trying to sit people away from each other. With my outdoor ceremonies since all this began, I did one the other day, and it was just I felt like I was standing in a petri dish because there were so many people crammed in this massive boat shed thing because it started to rain. But this weekend, my 4 weddings are all outside, and I'm going to ask people to stand, give each other space. We do actually have a rule here that's 1.5 meters, but I'm not going to, I'll mention that at the beginning, but I'll tell them just to give each other space.
Yeah.
And spread
So they're all
so
going to be standing. Nobody's going to be sitting. Nobody's going to be. We're all going to be standing.
Yeah, well, most of the time here with our council regulations, they might just only allow 30 seats anyway. So there are always a lot of people standing around. That's actually quite normal. So I'm just going to just get people to just move out. And if they don't, I mean, I'm not going to enforce it. I'm just going to, you know, remind them so that they're aware. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of changes.
We're doing a lot of risk management as officiants now.
Yeah.
Someone said to me,
I want to hear about your sanitation pack, though. Tell us a little bit about what else is in there.
No, I started putting it together yesterday, and I thought, you know, we have to take care of ourselves.
Yes,
right? We have to also look after our own health and also try to assure our couples or reassure them that, you know, things like our microphone, if they're going to be saying their vows into our microphones, are they even clean? So I went out and bought a big box of those alcohol wipes, you know, the ones that when people are just about to give you an injection in hospital, you know, those?
The alcohol pads, yeah.
Is that what they So I bought a box of them. I've always had them anyway when I clean my microphone at the end of the day, but I'm going to be cleaning mine between weddings. I'll be clean and including the handle because it keeps the microphone safe. The alcohol dries almost immediately. Some couples are saying that they want to bring their own pens. They don't even want to use my pen. So I've been saying to them, will I also wipe the pens after each ceremony? This is how far it's gone. I've told them that if I'm going to hand them their vow cards, that I will hand it to them and then step away. So the sanitization or the sanitary pack, I'm not sure what to even call it now, has the alcohol wipes in there, disinfectant wipes to wipe anything else down. Like when I get back to my car, I'll wipe the steering wheel down and whatever else has to be wiped down. Things like switches on my PA system, I'll wipe down just in case anyone's fiddled around with that or touched anything. I also have tissues in there. I also have something to dispose the dirty wipes and all of that. And And I have, what else? And toilet paper, as I mentioned before earlier, toilet paper, because a lot of our weddings, you know, whether they're in a designated venue or on a beach or a public space, people are stealing the toilet paper.
How awful is
Hmm.
that?
Terrible.
Uh,
Yeah, and then even when you're turning on the taps in those places, they're stealing the paper, like toweling. So that's why I also thought, oh, you know, I'll put disinfectant wipes in there as well, which goes for surfaces and also for your hands.
oh my gosh. Yeah, I
And
actually haven't
hand
thought of anything like
sanitizer
that.
if you can get it. So I'm like all prepared. I'm keeping it away from everybody so no one sees it and steals that.
Exactly. Or just everyone just touching it to get inside of it, and then it's like, what's the point? Because now it's all
Yeah,
contaminated.
it
Yeah,
is. I know. And that's why I'm just, you know, I'm being really super paranoid because it's peak season and I do have back-to-back weddings. I'm just trying to keep myself safe
yeah, yeah,
and
absolutely.
trying not to. Do you help, Aretha? I can't remember. Do you hold your microphone to your couples or do you hand them the microphone?
It depends. So I might just turn the microphone to them and then just, adjust it for the height of the groom and, the bride, and then let them speak
Yeah.
speak their vows to each other. Or
Yeah.
if there's no microphone stand, and I'm actually holding the mic for the ceremony, then I'll just hold the mic for them. Sometimes they'll just take it out of my hands and I'm like, okay. But yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good one too. I hadn't thought of that. So if I'm holding the mic, I can't give them the mic because I got to get the mic back, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
And you
Oh
need
my
to be,
goodness.
so the World Health Organization has said 1.5 meters away, and our arms are just not that long.
No, they're not. No,
You
they're at
know?
least mine are not. But yeah, this is these are some pretty scary times. I would be, I don't know about you guys, but I would be the first one to admit I'm a little scared. Actually, I'm a
Yeah.
lot scared. I'm not actually a
Mm.
lot scared because our job is so. I still need to get my nails done. I'm too scared to go get my nails done.
Yeah,
Right?
my nails are horrendous at the moment. I was thinking of that today. I thought, what do I do?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Aren't
know.
salons closed?
And then to make it even worse, even if you get your nails done, because of all of the excessive washing and
Hmm.
sanitizer, your nails become brittle and weak. Your hands are
Yeah.
drier than they would normally be, even when you're using moisturizer. Like I got
Yeah.
my nail fixed. I had a nail. I'm like, my nails, they're fairly long, and I'm like, oh, another one broke. I'm like, Corona, darn you, you know.
I
I'm
know.
like, she jamming my nails up. I was doing really good. But yeah,
I
like it's
know.
things like that.
And
But
people
my
think, oh,
artist,
that's ridiculous. Such a minor thing. But you know, the couples pay a fortune for their photographers and videographers, and when they're zooming into your hands, you
Exactly.
need to really be in top condition.
No, I agree. And I do my best to be in top condition. But yeah, I am
Well, you
just
always look
just
immaculate, so I wouldn't have
oh,
noticed.
thank you, Lillian. So I
no,
see
every
Mark from
aesthetic
California.
counts.
Hey, Mark. Hey, Mark from California. Just one second. I'm sorry. Mark from California. Is it California?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, how are you? How are you doing?
I'm listening to you guys going, you're really still doing weddings?
Well,
Yes.
Yeah,
hello.
No, I've had to ask myself each time, every one of them has been rescheduled, first of all.
Mm,
All the weddings I have been rescheduled. I
mm.
have two that would like me alone with them outdoors, just a couple, to legally marry them for legal reasons, and then do the big
yeah,
wedding later.
Later. Hmm.
I'm 67. My lady is 73 and seriously immunally challenged.
Yeah.
We are not going anywhere. I was just asked by another friend who has a 90-day valid marriage license to come over to their backyard and marry them legally. And I'm serious. My first question I asked myself is, if there was no money and no business concern on my part, and would I be doing this? Would I be counseling the kids to err on the side of caution? And almost everybody I've spoken to has said, yep, we've been doing virtual things, not weddings, but virtual, because I'm a cantor, we're doing virtual spiritual services online, everything. But I wouldn't go anywhere near past two people outdoors 15 feet away from them right now.
Yeah.
Because there are many reports of people who are not in their 70s getting seriously ill and damaged for the rest of their lives. And when the hospitals crash at this rate, it won't just be the old people dying. It'll be the people who had something else that they might have been saved from, like, they got run over by a truck. Too bad, because there's not a hospital bed. This is, and I'm totally open to hearing something else. But right now, they don't close the New York Stock Exchange because it's like, oh, well, maybe it'll go away.
Yeah.
And everything has changed just in the last few days.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm in touch with real doctors, and one of my couples, the father of the bride is a doctor. We met last Friday. He was ready to put down money on an April wedding, and 3 days later he said, "There's no way in hell we can do this." So I mean, it's changed that quickly.
Yeah.
Anyway, I didn't mean to dump cold water over everybody.
No, Mark, it's fine.
This
So I
is
just wanted to
serious
say hello
business,
and see
and
how
you
you're
have
doing.
every right to be not panicked, but certainly concerned and afraid. It's not time for panic. It's time for urgency and action. How do we take care of people? How do we take care of each other? And all of the good stuff, and make lemons out of lemonade, lemonade out of lemons.
Yeah, exactly. So hi, Danette. I see that. I hope I said your name correctly. I see you have your hands raised, and please,
Yes, you
anyone
did.
else who wants to chime in, just please raise your hand. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing really
Can you
well.
hear me?
Yes, we can all hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. No, I just, I have a wedding I'm supposed to do at someone's home this coming Sunday.
Mhm.
And if they want to do it, I'm willing to do it. Is it a good idea?
Well, oh my
That's up
gosh.
to
So how
me.
many? Well, yeah, it really is up to you. And how many people? How many people are going to
Very
be there?
small, very small. Just like I believe, like what Mark was saying, they want to get this part of it, the legal end of it done. They're
Mhm.
actually having the big ceremony in October.
Okay. Yeah, because I have a couple of those that came in this week actually, of people who are just doing the license signing. And I am
Yes.
doing them, but they're
Okay.
coming to my office. I'm not going to them. But yeah, but I'm going to be super careful, like what Lillian was just saying, with the pens and the hand, all of it. It's like, not too
Yeah, that's a
close.
great. I know. I was
Yeah.
listening, and I'm writing that all down. Very,
Yeah.
very good information.
Are you recording
Yeah,
this?
I
Because
think
it would be helpful.
Oh yeah, we better be recording.
Yeah, Lillian's suggestions were great,
I
by the
lost.
way.
Thank you.
Yeah, I
Yes.
lost connection for some reason, so I missed part of it. So yeah, that would be great.
Oh yes, we do have a
yeah.
recording. Yes, it is recording. So,
Well, I'm going ahead. I'm going ahead with my 4 weddings this weekend because
mhm,
they're outdoors, and as I mentioned before, I'm just having everybody space out and asking them just to understand that
mhm.
we are in these challenging times. I'm trying not to use the words coronavirus and pandemic and
Oh my gosh,
just
yeah.
COVID, just because I think everyone's a bit over it, and I don't, I'm just trying to find other words to use, like these challenging times, or the world is a different place, that sort of thing that I'm leading in with that in saying. But with all of my weddings this weekend, I can't even believe they're going ahead, and
Lillian,
pardon?
I was going to say everyone here in California is always spaced out, Lillian.
Yeah.
I do have an
I just
alternate.
got that.
I thought you would have. It takes a while. It had to bounce off a satellite in China.
I think we're on delay.
Yeah,
I do have
I
an
got
alternate wording. I have a
came all the way
COVID-19 pronouncement, if you'd like it. I now
well, I
pronounce
got
you
it all the
husband
way
and
in
wife.
Sydney.
You may now hand sanitize each other. Or I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may now quarantine the husband and wife.
Oh my gosh, that is too funny.
No, no,
Well,
and then
one of the
someone sent me, you may now kiss the bride, you may now kiss the groom, and you'll share the COVID virus, the first of many things you'll share along your journey
Oh
towards.
my goodness.
Oh,
No.
Lord. Wait,
It's
you gotta laugh.
gallows
We have to
humor,
find humor.
friends.
That is gallows humor for sure.
That is too much.
well,
Okay,
well,
Amber, I see you have your hand up. Hi, Amber.
Oops.
I don't know if you have
Sorry, I was
mic.
trying to figure out this microphone thing. Hi, everybody.
Hi there.
Hi, Amber.
I'm calling from North Dakota. I just moved here, which I'm glad I just got out of California in time before it went crazy, but it's definitely, we're seeing the effects up here as well. Hi, Mark. I saw you at MBA, by the way.
Hi,
Oh,
I sat next to you in class, actually. So
Amber.
Oh, wow.
I just have a question as to what you guys are doing as far as refunds. So I've got a couple couples that are canceling, and they haven't said anything about refunds, and I don't know really what to do because when I first schedule with the couple, I create their ceremony pretty much right after they book, even if their
Mhm.
wedding is a year out. So I've spent a lot of hours and time on creating these ceremonies for people. And if they end up canceling, are you guys giving them refunds even though you've worked on it? What are some of you doing out there in regards to money?
Well, I haven't actually had to tackle that yet, but I have a question. What is your refund policy or cancellation policy, I should say?
So in normal times, they put half
Mhm.
down, which is non-refundable, and then the remaining balance is due 2 weeks before their ceremony. However, there is a clause in there that says if the wedding has to be canceled due to an act of God, then they may be entitled to a full refund. So that might fall under that category.
Yeah, it might. Hey,
May I
Lillian, I
make a
would love your
suggestion?
thoughts on that.
all right. So I'm actually been mentoring and being speaking as a leader in a group here that's got 550 celebrants, and also with the training. And yesterday I had an interview from a journalist in our big newspaper here. Anyway, it really is a case by case thing, I believe. I'm like you, Amber. I sort of, get a down payment, and if they've moved the wedding, well, they don't get any refund on anything. But I also say that the down payment is non-refundable. It's almost like I use those words. I call it a non-refundable deposit. That's it. I don't even call it anything else. So they know that from the get-go. Some celebrants are feeling terrible, so they're just giving them refunds. A lot of celebrants are like, well, I'm going to be broke and I'll be living on 2-minute noodles or instant
Yeah,
noodles
exactly.
if I don't get paid. And then
Mm.
yesterday I was doing my research because I had to speak about this, and our local, what do you call it here? It's like a consumer protection body that we have here in Australia. Have put out an announcement that said if gatherings have been banned or your businesses have been affected because of a government ruling, that the businesses are not obligated to do refunds.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Anybody
Even
Right.
if it's
So
the
it
act
might,
of God. Oh, wow.
Well, it's
yeah,
actually the opposite here. Because if
you may need to have a look at your what your government, whoever your ruling body is in your area, and see if they've put something out like that, because that happened just yesterday and I was thinking, oh my goodness, I just think that you should treat this like any other. And then what I have at the end of my contract is, and it's to my discretion. So,
Oh,
so in my normal contract, I say that there's no refunds, there's no this, that I may transfer to another date if I'm available, but it's my discretion whether or not I offer refunds. So
okay.
that was already in my contract.
So then in this case, would you be offering refunds?
No, I'm not, because at the same time, like these 4 weddings this weekend, a lot of people are just going ahead. So
Right.
I could have had bookings that went ahead. I'm definitely not refunding any deposits or down payments, as I think you called them.
Yeah.
But I'm I'm definitely not going to refund them under any circumstances. If they transfer, there's a big push here in Australia. However, some are successful, some are not. If you reschedule to a Monday to Thursday or a Monday to Friday or a Sunday, because they're not as busy. Saturdays are just crazy, right? So, yeah, that you just choose a time and say, no, I don't offer refunds, but I'm happy to transfer your wedding to, if you wish to get married on Monday to Friday, that's available.
Sure.
And I tell my couples there's, you have to understand that everyone's doing the same thing. So everyone's scrambling for the available dates.
Right.
And I still have, so our next, we enter into winter here about the end of April through to the end of July or mid-August. And then it starts to warm up. So I'm already fully booked anyway for the next season, the next warm season. So those dates aren't, like, I haven't got any Saturdays available. So I've said to them, yes, I'm happy to transfer it. I'm not saying no, but I'm saying if I'm happy to transfer it, but under my conditions. Other than that, they're not getting a refund. But nobody has paid me in full yet.
Right.
So I wouldn't have to have refunded that part anyway. And so it's just, it's one of those things that I'm the same as you, Mark. I've had, was it Mark or who was it that was saying they're getting I think it was Mark who was saying you're doing the legal part and then having the big shebang wedding.
Yes.
Down the track.
I did say that.
Yeah, I'm doing a few of
that's
those
right.
as well.
So that is, that's also happening a lot here too, because we also legalized our marriages. So I've got one next week where I'm just doing it with the family in a backyard situation, and then they're having the massive wedding towards the end of the year.
Welcome to
and
the
if
webinar. You have entered as an attendee in listen-only mode.
I'm not sure who's that. Did somebody just come in? If you can just mute yourself. Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I know.
That's okay. Yeah. So that's how we're handling it here. I don't know if how you guys are all, thinking down the track, but I just think no. But if I feel sorry enough for a couple for whatever reason, then that's up to me if I want to refund them anything. But at this stage, I've had to reschedule and cancel 20 weddings. It's like red line in the sand this morning. That's where I'm at today. Tomorrow could be completely different again. That's where I'm at. And I haven't refunded 1 cent. I have just been, I've just been transferring or, just trying to negotiate. Where it's difficult is where you get couples that they still have to coordinate all their other vendors that they've paid.
Yep.
Right. And then they ring me and say, right, can you hold all of these dates and I'll get back to you. Right. So multiply that by 20 and you're like, my head is in a spin, right?
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah. So my head's in a spin. So I'm then, all right, well, yes. So I've been penciling them in. Thank goodness for Google Calendar. Otherwise I wouldn't know what a diary would look like. But that way then I can then hold them and then I'm just waiting. Someone said you're in a holding pattern, and that's what I feel I'm in now here.
Yeah.
It's this holding pattern, just waiting for things to happen.
It's awful.
May I jump in for a second?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
And after you, I'm gonna pull in Prez. I see Prez, you have your hands raised. And if anyone else, you want to raise your hand, go ahead, and I'll just pull you into the conversation, or you can just chime in. Go ahead, Mark.
I was just going to offer, I've been in a few groups and we just had another discussion in the Wedding Business Collective. I have some boilerplate and some suggested procedures and first of all, the number one suggestion is get out in front of it, send something to everybody, that recognizes what's going on, restate your policies, really emphasize that you're going to work with them in any way possible, so that you're not playing catch up. Second, if you do get in let me say it simply, I'll be happy to Aretha, send you all that boilerplate, and then maybe you can post it so everybody can see it. And
Yeah.
Amber, if you
Okay.
send me an email or a message, I'll send it to you directly.
Great.
But bottom line, John Goolsby, who's in charge of the Association of Bridal Consultants out here, and very well known. Now that it's a national emergency, now that localities are saying you can't do this or you can't have certain amounts of people, that tends to return the contract to a pre-contract basis, because it is an impossibility to hold the ceremony, and that means all bets are off and refunds have to happen. So don't get too excited. It's just that I'm not saying, I'm not a lawyer. That's just one opinion. So bottom line, check with a lawyer before you start getting hard and fast with people. And mostly, just be kind and gentle. And then if it comes to like I think Lillian said, hey, if I had to make 25 refunds, I'm going to be living on noodles in a sleeping bag outside.
Yeah.
That has
Yeah.
to be explained, and then you go, look, I'm going to be this is what I can do. We can give you $10 a month for the next 200 or whatever. Just make sure that don't come down too heavy on the I've got a contract thing, at least here in America, until you know that that's rock solid, because it may not be.
Well, yeah, what I've been finding is that people are just so frantic and they just want somebody to talk them off the ledge and just to sort of simmer things down. That nobody's really talking
Right.
about contracts or even refunds,
Right.
really. So, but I'm,
Right.
it's going to get to that point where we're going to have to talk about it.
And
Now,
that's why we want to be ahead of the curve, not
yeah,
behind it.
yeah,
Sorry
exactly.
to
Yeah,
be so
thanks so
windy,
much.
but I
Oh,
Yeah,
no, you're
I
right.
think
Yeah.
Aretha, we're as officiants or celebrants, we are in the business of the heart. We're
Yeah.
not wired for this.
No.
Really, unless you happen to be someone who's been in business or in those roles before and then become an officiant. But we're not wired for this. And I think a lot of officiants worldwide, I know here in Australia, I put one out this morning, a post. I really should send it to you, what I put out.
What did you put out?
With Xena the warrior coming through a fire, saying all of your heads are in a spin. You need
Yes.
to get a grip of yourselves, and you've got this. But you
Yeah.
do have to also look after yourself. So I should send it to you. It's quite funny. But I've just told people that we're not wired for this, but you'll be okay. And suddenly we do have to all switch into business mode. We have to protect our own viability and our own livelihoods as well. That's really important to remember. And a lot of celebrants, because they're in this for the love of it, are they're really finding it difficult to get their heads around it. My heart goes out to them. I feel for them, because to me it just comes naturally because I've always been in business. But to a lot of my colleagues and peers, they just don't even know where to begin.
Yeah.
With this, and they're doing things like just handing money back, finding money. One celebrant said to me, I just have to borrow some money from my mom to then refund clients. And I said, no, sweetheart, don't do that. Like, just think, just stop and think, or go for a walk, or go for a swim, or do something while you think about this.
Yeah.
So it's that's where we're at the moment,
Yeah.
I think. And so there's been a lot of great advice on this. I've been jotting down on the tiniest little piece of paper.
I'm gonna ask you guys about what about couples that are getting married for next year, because I've been getting calls about that, and my feeling on that is calm down. Hopefully we'll be fine by next year. But I'm gonna pull Prez into the conversation. Hey Prez, how you doing?
Good evening, Aretha. How's it
Good
going out
evening.
there?
It's going all right. Thanks for coming. Thanks for
Hey,
being
thanks for
here.
having me. Hey, I've
Yeah.
been listening to all the outstanding conversation going on. Mark actually expressed a significant amount of what I was going to state in that getting ahead of it, developing some sort of policy and putting something out there prior to couples engaging you, show some professionalism and put out something blanket that says, even though these are some challenging times, I would love to work with you. if your endeavor is to reschedule. However, also not only just getting ahead of it, but also removing ourselves from the decision by impressing state, local, and national policies, which may conflict at this time. So if we just put it out there like that, we must comply with the other coordinating factors. Now we're not stating that, hey, we don't have to have a conversation about we have a contract. They already know that, but hey, we're just saying we're just going to do as the guidance suggests and demands of us. So I just wanted to put that out there for the group. And then my second portion that I wanted to state was that really right now, this time, I think that we should just concentrate on preparation. Preparation being that, okay, when we do get past this, there is going to be a significant demand. And so we must be prepared for that with more education, more training. And I speak on that where, okay, Aretha just did a magnificent website for me in which I'm continuing to go out there and boost markets. So I will stay visible, increase my visibility during this time so that when we do get past this, I am prepared to receive the masses and their business. So those are just the 2 points that I just wanted to hop on and express real quick.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
Thank you,
that
Prez. And thanks for the shout out on the website. I
Not a
appreciate
problem.
it.
Whereabouts are you from, Prez? What area? Where are you from?
I'm here in
Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Hey, Anita, I see you have your hand up. Come on in.
Hi everyone, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Joining in from Canada, Ontario to be specific.
Hi.
So I just wanted to say a couple of things that I've been doing. I'm a fairly new officiant, so I thank the Lord I don't have a lot of bookings this month. My first wedding for the year is in May and towards the end of May. But Ontario is currently on a full lockdown. So every event center, restaurant, bar, everywhere is pretty much closed, and you'll be fined if you have a wedding. So during this time, a lot of couples have reached out to me, and this is a great time for me to let them know that as an officiant, I'm mobile. I'm not a pastor, and I'm not like in the court, so I'm not stuck to one place. I can come anywhere to meet you. And a lot of them that are rescheduling for like later on in the year are very happy to know that, oh, you can come to us. So if we decide to just have like a wedding in our backyard, can you do that? And like really telling them like, yes, I can do that. So rebooking has been a little bit like easier with the couples that want to book for a later on date. And these are like couples that still have their weddings, let's say in June, and they want to move it to September. Just having that flexibility to move it has been really helpful. But right now, weddings aren't taking place unless you're going to people's houses. So just really educating them on that part of the business that, we are able to go anywhere we need to go to officiate the wedding has been really helpful this time.
Yeah.
Great.
I agree.
All right. So I see Linda. Hi, Linda. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm in Ontario
Thank you.
too.
Thank you for that,
And
Anita. Yeah.
what I did is I sent a note out to my couples that have weddings planned for May, June, and July, letting them know that I was hoping that, actually I'll read it to you. Hope this note finds you both as well as your loved ones safe and healthy. I wanted to touch base, let you know I'll work with you in any way that helps you through this extraordinary time. If you're considering changes to your wedding plans, let me know how I can make it easier for you. If you need to change the date, I will rearrange to help make that happen. If you want a quick, small, private ceremony anytime, I'd happy to help make that happen and still perform your ceremony at your wedding celebration. Now, I'm offering to do this for my couples at no extra cost because these ones that I've reached out to, I know I could do that private ceremony without very much time involved on my part. And then I also said, as you're planning towards the date, please be aware of the 90-day limit on obtaining your marriage license, as well as be aware as municipal officers that offer licenses and municipal services may limit their service hours. This is the time we have to be focused on our health and health of our loved ones, and at the same time carefully maintain social distancing for the health of our community. We'll get through it together. And this afternoon, I think most municipal offices have closed their registry offices. So if you don't have a license, you will not be getting married in the next 90 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
Same thing. Now, I have a question though. So you're offering to do the wedding on the big day, should they reschedule that big day wedding, but you're also
If we're able
offering
to,
to do, right,
yes,
you're also offering to
the
do
legal side.
the signing of the license. Yeah.
So I would, if they want to be married, if they were able to get their license and they just want to make sure they're married now, I will meet them, do that private signing. And if they're rescheduling a big wedding, I would finish out the rest of the wedding then for the full cost, for the full cost that we arrange for the full wedding. But the couples that are within this window that I have now, I could manage to do that within an hour of my time. So I'm happy to do that. And the response that I've gotten back from my couples have been, very appreciative, empathetic, and I also believe that this attitude would also go away towards couples who are talking to other couples who are planning, and will help be a positive word of mouth for my own services.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, I would just like to say that I really like that vernacular there where you said, I believe it was in consideration of both your health and safety as well as mine. I believe we should all impress that it is an exchange of safety measures, because it is not only just the parties in which we are in front of, the guest, but also for the officiant going forward. We have to be considerate of all these factors in the planning and in the orchestration of these events. So I believe that wording is critical.
Yep. Yes. Thank you for that. Diego, in Brazil, I see you have your hands raised.
I'm on a webinar.
Hello,
Hi, Diego. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm doing well. How is it going in Brazil?
Very, very tough either.
Very tough. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like to talk much here because English is not my first language, but
No, you're doing well. Thank you. You're
okay, thank you.
fine. You're fine.
I'm going to speak a little, but I believe that this is the time for us to prepare ourselves. Today I'm recording a podcast. I think that we can do some lives in YouTube for couples. I think that you can prepare because this difficult time it will pass. I don't know if
Oh, it will.
a month, 2, 3 months, 4 months. We don't know exactly, but I believe that this is the time for us to prepare ourselves, to make contacts, to this kind of things, to be in our market, in our business. I believe that this is the time for us to really prepare ourselves.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. And that's what Prez was just saying about really, ramping up his marketing and getting things, he's just got his new website and just really preparing for when this takes a turn for the better. And
Yeah.
I for one, can't wait. Now, what are you guys
Yeah.
doing about couples that are worried about next year's wedding? I've gotten a few calls like that. And the only thing I can say to that is hopefully by next October we'll be fine. I don't even know what else to say about that. I just really want to deal with the couples that are, worried about this year.
Wow.
So
Yeah, I did
what?
get a couple reach out today for planning for next year. So
A lot of couples are taking this time when they're quarantined in their houses to plan. I've gotten actually several emails this week from people saying, hey, I've got tons of time to plan my wedding for next year. I'd like to go ahead and book my vendors now. So I think like you guys being proactive at this point, even for weddings a year from now, those couples are thinking about it and they know they don't want to get married this year, but they're definitely planning their next year ceremonies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Linda, I think just to go back to Linda, I think the one thing that you did say that just like came to my mind is the 90-day, window that we do have here in Ontario to get your license. And I think for for couples for next year, it's really to let them know that as soon as you're getting married, really, really apply for that license, because now all the offices are closed and we can't do anything. So if you don't have your license, we really can't marry you. So it's just letting them know, like, be proactive and apply for those licenses as soon as you can. Like, don't wait for it, right? So
So in Canada, if you're getting married, if you can't get your license before 90, you have to get married inside of 90 days, but you can apply for your license now, even if you're getting married next year?
No, you can only apply for it within that 90-day window.
Right. So they can't. Okay. So for the couples for next year, they can't do anything. Yeah.
No, but I have a
Same thing
couple
here.
in May. Coming up in May, and speaking with them, I'm pretty sure I know they haven't applied for their license, and that's something I'm gonna need to touch base with them. Even though immediately they contacted me, that was the first email I sent to them.
Yeah.
Right. So they might think they're safe now, but then they're gonna get my email soon, and they're gonna say, "Oh wow,"
Yeah, like my first couple, they don't have their license yet, and unless the municipal offices reopen, they probably won't get it in time. But the other couple has a window if they have a little bit more time.
Yeah.
But there are some municipalities are still open. It's just they haven't all closed, but they will all be closed, I bet, by the end of the week. So you might have to hustle to get a license right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So Lillian, how does that work in Australia? Do you have the 90-day window like we do here?
No, we have an 18. I've actually just put out a bit of a notice to everyone about this, that we have an 18-month window.
Wow.
We have to give, the couples must give 1 month's notice to that they want to get married to the calendar day. So what's today? 18th or whatever it is. Then they can get married on the 18th of April if they gave notice today. And that we call it a notice of intended marriage, and that is valid for a period of 18 months. In saying that, a lot of people who are getting married at the moment this year or in the next few months had their notice of intended marriage, and then they're putting their weddings backwards, which means that their notices will run out, the validity of them. So it's a bit of a situation, having to redo those notices. But at the same time, the celebrants here are authorized to do that. They don't need to go anywhere physically to do that except to the celebrant directly. So that it's a lot more convenient like that. The registry offices are being shut down from state to state here today. So any registry weddings that take place within the marriage offices there are actually going to give us a little bit of a spike in the availability of, like, the couples market, people who do want to get married just in a registry office. So that's kind of a positive for us, I suppose. But we just, and as far as your question before, Aretha, about next year, I mean, I've already got lots of bookings next year and even in 2022, and I'm just treating them like normal everyday bookings. I'm just letting them book them. That way, then some people are purposely booking them so that they can get ahead and, be already, like, have all of their vendors booked that they want. They're kind of using this time, using the chaos that all these poor couples are in to guide what they should be doing and how to protect their own weddings next year. So I think I'm just taking the booking and see what happens. And at the same time, in a parallel life, I'm dealing with this catastrophe that's kind of taking place at the moment. Yeah,
I don't have any weddings going out to 2022, but for the couples that not that far out, but for the couples for next year, my feeling is just let's all breathe.
Yes.
Next year. Hopefully we'll be fine, way before next year. But no need to, get frazzled and call all your vendors and make them all. Right now we're dealing with vendors for this year, so just breathe.
Well, I
Yep.
think with the 90-day window that you have, it makes it a shorter period of time anyway when people can plan, really.
Yeah.
So because we have that 18-month window, which is huge, it's not unusual here in Australia to be booking weddings in 2021, end of 2021 into 2022. We all just sort of shrug the shoulders and think, oh yeah, that's quite normal for us to do that here in Australia.
Wow. Yeah, that is not normal
Mm.
for me. I don't know anybody else. That's not normal for me at all.
No, not here in Pennsylvania.
Not here in New Jersey.
You do feel a little bit insecure about it though, because sometimes I think, oh, maybe I should just be putting my feet up in the Bahamas with my husband somewhere at that
Would
time.
be
I'm not sure.
nice, but
Yeah, I'd be
Well,
happy, but go ahead, Prez.
Aretha, what I'm going to do going forward, as soon as the opportunity presents itself, is I am going to innovate just like everyone else right now. And I'm going to check with my local governing body, and I'm going to see if I can actually perform weddings online. If we can do them. Yes, right. I'm going to
thought
innovate.
about
I'm going to leverage this situation and see if I can do it via Zoom or whatever, WhatsApp or whatever innovative tool I can to accommodate my wedding couples, and also to stay in accordance with the
Right.
restrictions and policies or whatever case may be, and now also incorporate the considerations of health and safety as well. So that's what I'm going to do going
I
forward.
love that idea, Prez. And please report back to us. I
Yeah.
want to hear all about that. Yeah,
Will do.
thank you. Let's see. Anybody else with their hand up? Hi, Anita. I see you still have your hand up.
I got
Go
my
ahead.
mic. Sorry.
You have your mic? I hear you, Mark, but I don't see your hand up, or I don't see. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, just put it up. Oh, I was just saying my ear is glued to Prez's telephone from now on. As soon as he gets that online ordination, I'm all about it, Prez.
Yeah, I'm gonna be all over
You
that.
should charge about. You can put out an ebook on that, and I'll pay you $5 for sure.
My man.
I want to be an affiliate for that sucker, I'll tell you.
Absolutely.
I did want to go back to what Lillian said a little bit ago about the business coming easy or not easy. I've been playing devil's advocate this whole time. I'm not a hard ass about the contract, but I'd be very clear about, hey, this is what we agreed, and that's why we have agreements, and that's why we don't have bar mitzvah kids, signing contracts. We have their parents signing contracts, all of that stuff. I'm used to that in a nice way. I'm being a little glib. But it does also, like where Prez was saying, let's leverage the situation. Business-wise, as people come in and say, hey, I want a 2021, you can say, listen, normally I wouldn't tell you this, but I've got a ton of my brides right now rescheduling from 2020. So if you really want a date, we got to lock it down pretty soon, because those dates are going to be gone. Saying it without panic or without pressure, but it's the truth, and our cash flow could be supplemented at this point.
I see where you're going with this, Mark. I see what you're doing.
The second place that you could leverage more money, or at least cash flow, is indeed I will do a signing ceremony. I will do an intimate signing, an intimate marriage ceremony for you to be legal, and then we'll do the big wedding in 3 months, 5 months, whatever. And now you're doubling your fee. I mean, I've looked at it that way too. It's just a matter of not just what's legal, but what's safe.
Safe.
And then I have a third twist, which you guys don't have. As a Jewish officiant, we have what's called a ketubah signing ceremony. So, and some people are approaching me, not that they're going to put off the big ceremony, but not just for legal reasons, like the one in the backyard my friends want to do, but also for spiritual reasons. They had set the date 4/4 was very meaningful to them. I don't know, numerology, astrology, whatever. It's the date they started going out, and they really want to bind themselves at that moment. Is there any way I could do it? And one couple, even though they can't now get the marriage license, even though they applied for it, but the place closed before they could get it, said, well, could we just sign the ketubah, which is a Jewish marriage document? And I said, yeah, because my friend who makes those ketubahs got it to them in time. He's also told them that if he has to reprint it with a different date because it's got a date on it, that he'll do it for no charge. So there's just a lot of ways that things could really we could come out ahead of the game, or at least sideways. But just be cautious about being gentle and kind to people, because we're all in this together.
Absolutely.
You know,
Very stressful
people are
time.
freaking out.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
But I
crying
love.
fights in the last week.
And Amber, if you would send me something, I couldn't remember your last name, and I looked all over my Amber
Olsen.
that sat next to me at Olsen. Aha.
Yeah, it's Officiant Amber now. It used to be Antelope Valley Wedding Officiant.
Okay. I had your face, but I couldn't find you anyplace. But you know what? Send me an email, and I'll send you that stuff.
I just sent you
still have mine?
Instagram.
Beg your pardon?
I just sent you a message on Instagram.
Okay, super. Yeah. I didn't get that far. Sorry to monopolize. I just want to make sure we made the connection.
No. Thank you for that, Mark. No, it's all good.
I'll link up.
Go ahead, Amber.
On here, and just, you know, so we can communicate with one another. Aretha, is it possible to put something out there where we can all like each other's pages and really kind of see what the other officiants are doing and keep in touch?
Absolutely. Yep. That's what I'm going to do. For sure.
Right.
Yeah. Someone else.
I think we're just, I think really, you know, I have to go because that journalist keeps trying to contact me.
No, it's okay. We're only going to stay on for an hour as well. No, but thank you so much, Lillian. Go ahead.
Bye, Lillian. That's okay. Lovely speaking with you all.
I didn't hear that,
Thank you,
Lillian.
everybody.
Say that again.
Thank you, Aretha.
I didn't hear you, Lillian.
Just before I head off, I just wanted to say one thing, that I think, you know, to have this solidarity even globally and to be able to speak to each other and look at things from different angles is going to help, because all of our couples are different. They all have their own set of emotional value and spiritual values. They have the family pressures. They have pressures from this. They have their own relationship to think of. I know couples that are heading towards breaking up because of this, you know, so they are, because suddenly it's like, for instance, one of my couples, just before Italy was shut down, she's Italian. His whole family are here in Australia, but she's Italian and none of her family could come, but his family were all saying, well, let's go ahead, you know. So it put a lot of, it drove a wedge between them.
Of course.
So it is also, they also have to think about their own personal relationships, which is what we're here for, is to, you know, for them to help them through that initially anyway. So we really, to hear all the different opinions rather than have a blanket solution to everybody, is just not going to work that way. I think if we can just take from each other whatever would work for our own little businesses, for our own couples, and from celebrant to celebrant, because we're all different ourselves, we also have our own type of clientele, or kind of clientele. And just look at this as, you know, and one thing I love about what Prez was saying before is he was so positive. You're so positive, Prez. You know, you kind of gave me a lot that I want to really actually think about now as far as moving forward goes, because I do believe we need to be prepared to receive the masses. I think this is like a restart button in our industry, in the celebrant industry. You know, we do have to look at it from a positive perspective and try to get through this, because every phone call is going to be different. You know, as Prez said as well, you know, we can't make the decisions for the couples. There are other governing factors. So even if we did have some sort of advice for them, it's not going to, they can't necessarily take our advice if the governing bodies say something otherwise, you know.
That's right.
So there's a lot
it's just
really
a lot to consider. A lot of variables, a lot of stuff. Yes.
So many variables that I look at all my couples and they're all different. I don't know how they're going to handle things or what they're going to do or say. So I'm guided by them as well and their temperamental lives at the moment.
Yeah.
But to take little snippets and I think one thing we can all agree on is that I think once this is all over, we're just going to be inundated, which is a nice problem to have.
Absolutely. We're all going to be better for it, for sure.
Yeah, I'll have to go because I have to ring this journalist back now.
No
But anyway,
problem.
lovely meeting you all on this.
Thank you for coming. You too. Take care. And
Take
thanks
care.
for being
Good
here.
night.
Okay. Good night.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
anytime. Loved it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. All right,
Not sure how to
guys.
end.
Oh, you might just click on the yeah, there you go.
Don't end all of us.
That's okay. So do we have any other questions? I see, Marcus, do you still have your hand up? Do you have a quick, let's see. Go ahead, Mark. I don't know if you're still there. So I want to thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you so much for coming in and really connecting. We all needed this to really be able to sit and connect with each other and come up with ideas of how we can best serve our couples and really help each other through this difficult time. I know I've been scared and scared for my couple, scared for myself, wanting to be safe. And so it's just been difficult. So thank you guys for coming. And I will see you all next week. Just check out the school calendar for the upcoming webinars for the coming weeks. And I look forward to connecting with all of you again. And I'm going to make sure that I get this video out to everyone. I'm going to put it up on the school, and then I'm going to send out a quick email telling you it's where it's available and where you can find it and the link and all that good stuff. So
happy trails to you until we meet again.
We love you, Mark.
Keep smiling, kids.
That's right.
We will.
Lighten up or tighten up. That's the choice.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for
everyone for being there. Thank you, Aretha, for having this.
Thank you.
Yes.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.